Hi, Richa.
Hi, Jayashree.
Richa, you tried your PPT, right? It's working.
I tried.
And Diksha, you want to try the poll once?
Can you give me just 5 more minutes? I'm just finishing it up.
Yeah,
Hi,
yeah.
Diksha.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good.
Good. मैं 5 मिनट में आती हूँ.
Jayashree, do you see the slides changing?
Yeah, yeah. And Richa, what is IPHM? International something, no?
International Practitioners of Holistic Medicine.
Medicine. Yeah, okay. Hello, good evening, everybody. I know it's 4 o'clock. Thank you for joining in on time. And I think since people are still joining in, we'll wait just for a couple of minutes more. Richa, we'll start after 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah. All right. I think Richa will start. It's 2 minutes past 4. So welcome and a very warm, very good afternoon to each one of you and warm welcome. And it's nice to see all of you here on the community this session. Um, So, like always, this session is for educators by educators. We are all here on the same platform to share our success stories, share what's worked for us, and also for us to learn from one another and support one another. That is the spirit of community of practice. And today we have Richa Shankar, who is going to be with us, and she is going to share her thoughts on how we can deal with adolescents, how we can, be with adolescents. And it is just through connection and it cannot be controlled. And that is what she's going to help us understand. And a little bit about Richa before I hand it over to her. Richa Shankar is an IPHM certified shadow mastery coach. And IPHM is international. What is it, Richa? Can you just help me? International
Practitioners of holistic medicine.
International Practitioners of Holistic Medicine, certified shadow mastery coach, and she's also an educational consultant. She has a very rich experience of working as an educator and counselor in various schools across India in different states, starting from Ladakh to Punjab to Uttarakhand to Tamil Nadu. And in the last school that she was working, she was my colleague. We were colleagues at the Heritage Experiential Learning School in Gurgaon. As an educator, she has worked closely with adolescents and young adults. She helps educators and parents of adolescents understand their emotional patterns so they can respond with awareness and build trust and connection with their students and children. Currently, Richa works as a psychotherapist and she also freelances with Adhyayan as an associate assessor. Today, she will help the educators move beyond behavior management in an adolescent classroom to fostering meaningful connection with the students because students may forget what they learned, but they will always remember how the educator who truly saw them made them feel. Over to you, Richa.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jayashri. All right. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. And yeah, let's begin. So, we're talking about connection, not control. So, by the end of this session, the educators will understand behavior as communication of emotional needs. They can recognize how their own emotional triggers influence classroom interactions, and they can learn the principles of co-regulation and emotional containment through practical tools. And while this is a learning space, this is also a very safe learning space. So I would encourage all of you to share freely without any fear of judgment. Right, so we begin with one quick activity. And I would prefer if you would have a journal or something to write on. You can use your phone to write on. You can actually type something on your laptop or whichever device you're using. But I'm old school and I believe in putting pen to paper. So it'll be really helpful if you can have something to write with. So if you don't have it right now, please take a moment to get a pen, paper. Right, some people are still joining. All right. So, very quickly, then let's think about that one teacher we never forget. So, take some time, go back as far back in the past as possible, and think of that one teacher you never forget. And when you think of that teacher, write who made you about the teacher who made you feel seen, understood, and valued. What did they do? Please don't write things like they were nice to me, they were very loving. No, what exactly did they do to make you feel seen, understood, and valued? And how did you feel in their presence? And good is not an answer. So please mention the emotions. Tell exactly how you felt in their presence. Did you feel safe? Did you feel valued, loved, seen? All of that. And whenever you're ready, maybe in a minute's time, we'll be able to share this in the whole group. All right, we can use the chat window to share our thoughts or anybody who would like to unmute themselves and speak. That one teacher who made you feel seen, understood, and valued. What did they do and how did you feel in their presence? Please raise your hands if you want to speak, or please use the chat window.
Who would like to share? Hmm. Hetal, would you like to share? You have to unmute yourself, Hetal.
Ma'am, I remember my economics teacher. I don't remember her name, but she was excellent teacher. The way of teaching, she was used to teach economics, and I used to hate economics. But the way she teach the economics, and she has a habit after teaching. Next day, she asked about what we have learned the yesterday, whatever the topic. So that way, she take the recap also, and the way she teach immediately will remember what she wants to say.
Yeah.
And because of her, I have taken in my BA entire economics, 6 paper of economics. So that way I have passed in economics.
Very nice. Yeah, I
Uh,
think Ambika has raised her hand. Yeah.
Hello, this is
Hi.
Ambik. Yeah, I would like to share a teacher of
And
when I was in class fourth. I was not attending class. Even today, I don't know what was the reason. Uh, at that time, a teacher, her name Kamala teacher, she used to come to my house frequently, and she used to motivate me. And the affection she used to show towards me, that made me to feel secured. Then after 3 months, I started going to class. This was when I was in fourth standard. So my father always used to say, now I'm a teacher. When you started at that time, even today you are not leaving school. Yeah, that was the impact what I.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. So in the chat also we have a couple of responses. Someone
Yeah.
says, I had a needlework teacher in junior school. See, someone remembers their junior school so far back in the past, who was so hands-on and
You want me to read it out, Richa?
yes. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So and gave personal attention. So that personal attention stayed with Poonam, and she remembers that teacher from her junior school. So yeah, uh, Krishna Das sir, because he gave a chance for a class to dance. Okay.
Yeah, you're
Breaking a little?
breaking a little bit. It's okay now. Yeah.
Okay. So that's what it is. That's what connection is all about. It's not about control. It's all about connection. And that is the kind of educator that we would want to be in our lives. So for that, we need to look at something called, okay, people are still joining. We need to look at something called emotional iceberg. So we all know what iceberg is. We've all read about it. So what we can see on the surface is the emotion, which is, the behavior, sorry, which you see a child yelling, or you see an angry child, a frustrated child, someone who's crying. But what we do not see, what is beneath the iceberg, is what is happening inside of that child. Are they scared? Are they confused? Do they feel helpless? Do they have any kind of shame, guilt? Do they feel unsafe somewhere? So, this is the behavior which we do not see. And as an educator who wants to be remembered for the connection, this is where we need to work. So, we will have some quick polls. So, in the poll, you'll be given a situation. For every situation, please answer these 2 questions. So, it's a multiple choice poll. What emotions may be underneath? What need might be unmet? So when a student does something, I'll give you an example. The student is yelling. So what emotion may be underneath and what need might be unmet? We are all not psychologists here, so it doesn't have to be a very correct answer. The idea is to just be curious about what can be beneath that behavior. The aim is not being correct. The aim is being curious. Diksha, could we please have the first poll? Let me stop sharing this. Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Richa, you might have to share the statement.
I may have to do what?
Share the statement, or I can also.
I'll share the statement and I'll put it in
Okay.
the chat window as well. Just give me a moment. Yeah, the first statement is for this poll, it is the student refuses to work. So please answer what could be the underlying emotion in it and what is the unmet need. You can answer more than one option. You can choose more than one.
The student refuses to work.
Yes, the student refuses to work.
Okay. Poonam, can you just answer the poll? You've written in the chat that students have some problem at home, but if you can answer this on the poll.
Mhm. Diksha, can we move to the next one? Next poll. And the statement is the student constantly talks. The student constantly talks in the class. We're not
You want,
discussing
we're not discussing it now,
yeah, we're
Richa?
not discussing the answers because there may not be any correct answer. It's
Okay,
just about
fine.
the curiosity to see what might be. See, poll one, a lot of you say you know, loneliness, insecurity, shame. See, there is so much. So it just piques our curiosity that there could be any of these needs which are unmet. These could be the emotions. The child could be scared, the child could be lonely, they could be insecure, and that is the reason they do not finish their work.
Okay. What's the second one?
Second one is the student constantly talks in the class.
Student constantly talks in the class. Okay.
So the statement is the student constantly talks.
Hmm. Many people have
What?
written fear for this.
Mhm.
Interesting.
See, who would know somebody who's such a chatterbox, who's constantly talking? Um, they could be scared of something. The need for love is unmet. They don't feel visible enough, and that is why they need that visibility. Someone says, six people say being heard. That need is not met, so the student talks so much that someone somewhere will hear him out. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
Saifu doesn't say attention. Correct. Yeah.
Someone says three people say belonging. So the student doesn't feel, they belong anywhere. So maybe this is their way of seeking attention and trying to belong in that classroom, in that room. Recognition. Eight people say that. Yeah. It's not important at this moment in the beginning to find out what exactly is the need which is unmet. Just knowing that there might be some unmet need is enough for us to not react. Yeah. Diksha, we can have the third one. The third statement is
1 second.
yeah. Yeah, the third statement is the student is rude.
Students,
Student is
is
rude. I
behaving
put in the
rude.
chat,
Okay.
the student is
Rude.
rude. Could be with anyone. Could be with the peers, could be with the teacher, could be with the class 4 staff, could be with anybody, the bus driver. The student is rude. So what is the emotion? The student could be insecure. People say lonely. So all of these could be attention-seeking behavior. Maybe he thinks if he's rude, he will have some people who will come and talk to him. Maybe this disrespect will garner some attention. Yeah, a lot of people write insecurity. Yeah, Diksha, we can move to the next one.
Next statement.
Yeah.
Yes, Poonam, you're right.
I'm giving you the statement.
Maybe the student is copying somebody at home. Yeah, you're right.
Possible, possible.
Yeah. You have some interesting responses on the chat. Poonam says maybe he's copying somebody at home. Yeah.
That's a learned behavior. So student sleeps in class. That's the fourth statement.
1 second. I'm ending the previous poll. 1 second.
Yeah.
Student sleeps in class.
Sleeps in class. So the student comes to the class and they sleep. Not interested in what is being taught. Not interested in any activity. So what could be the underlying emotion? Someone very interestingly said to this one that, they feel so safe in the classroom
Mm,
that they just want to sleep there.
mm.
Worry about something, okay? Insecurity, confusion. Four people say confusion. The people who say other, we would like to hear from you. Yeah. This is seen so much now due to use of mobile phone, social media. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what is the emotion underlying? This is the reason. What could be the emotion?
Yeah, late
Actually,
night
it's
screen time
just,
time.
I think it's just, they want to be connected with everything.
Mhm.
Uh, but actually, that is not real connection, because if you ask them, like, what did you scroll for 1 hour, they don't remember. So it is to find a connection. Uh, but it's a very, I would say they are lost. They don't really know what connection they're looking for also,
Okay.
because it's not real. There is no
Uh,
connection there.
yeah. Thank you. And the last one, the student is disruptive. The student just disrupts the class.
1 second.
And for this, we can unmute ourselves and speak. The student who's very disruptive in class, what do you think? Why? Which need is unmet?
Wants attention, Poonam says.
Yeah. Attention grabber. Why? That's again the behavior. Attention grabber. So which need is not met? Why would the child want attention in such a unproductive way?
Basically, I think maybe they're just not getting attention at home,
Mm-hmm.
and they may not be like a super achiever, so they may not know the answer. So they go the other way to get the
Okay.
attention. That okay, if I can't get it because I'm a very intelligent person, so then
Okay.
by making some noise or by disturbing others or something, that's how they get the attention of the adult in the room. That's the teacher.
Garima says maybe the child doesn't have any friends, feeling lonely, venting out emotionally in a classroom. Maybe this is their way of, getting that attention. Maybe that is their way of, since I don't have any friends, if I disrupt the class, people will any kind of attention, any kind of connection, they're looking for that. Thank you so much for all your answers, and I'll get back to sharing my screen. Yeah. Thank you so much, Deeksha.
No issues.
So, okay. Okay, I'm going to close this poll. So here, the behavior is adaptation. It is not defiance. When the child is disrupting the class, when they're talking too much, when they are yelling, doing any kind of behavior in the classroom, that is adaptation. They're trying to adapt to their environment where when they don't get seen, when they don't feel visible, when they don't feel heard, when they feel lost, it is their way of adapting. It is their way of kind of, proving their existence. This is not defiance. So this is one thing that we want to establish, that there is some unmet need because of which the child is behaving the way they are behaving. And we need to understand this. All right. Now this slide this is the only slide I promise in the whole presentation, which is a little teaching and a little academic heavy. So because we need to understand what is happening here, how as educators we can contribute here, and what is our role here. So we've all heard of Sigmund Freud, we've heard of Carl Jung. Jung was a disciple. So what Freud called the unconscious, like all the emotions which we are uncomfortable with, we repress them into our unconscious. We don't want to talk about them. We don't want to meet them. All the memories which are painful, we just push them somewhere in our heads, and we don't want to meet them ever, right? So Jung calls them shadow, the parts of ourselves that we reject, suppress, or we don't acknowledge. And then we feel, all right, we've grown into adults, and we're done with this. Like, that shadow doesn't exist anymore. It is somewhere in our head. It'll never come back, but it does. So all the emotions which we repress, like shame, fear, guilt, helplessness, frustration, all of that, it comes back in an emotionally charged situation. It comes back in the form of our reactions. And then we think, oh my God, why did I react the way I did? Did I overreact? Why? So how is it important in a classroom? Because in a classroom, a student's defiance may activate an educator's own unresolved emotional wounds, causing a response that is stronger than the situation itself warrants. The students who push our buttons, and God knows they really know which buttons to push. So the students who push our buttons can become mirrors reflecting aspects of ourselves that seek awareness and integration. So let me tell you one example. I'm going to stick with this example till the end so we make things very clear. When a student challenges your authority, no, ma'am, this is wrong. Ma'am, I read something else. Ma'am, ChatGPT says something else. No, ma'am, right? So what do you feel? What emotion do you feel? You feel angry. And then you just, you blow your top, you scold the student. Understand what is the need which is still unresolved in you. What is your emotional wound? Do you come from a point where you always felt the need to prove yourself, to prove your competence, to shout from a rooftop that you are competent, that you know what you know, that you are something, you're enough only when you're achieving something? Those are the unresolved wounds, and that cause that reaction. So by bringing these emotions into conscious awareness, rather than reacting from them, educators gain greater self-regulation, empathy, and capacity to respond with connection rather than control. We need to understand where we are operating from. Are we operating from our shadow self? The moment the child says, no, ma'am, I don't think you're right, I think you're wrong, do we feel angry? If yes, then why? Why is that a trigger for us? What is our emotional wound? So we need to look into that. So the shift has to be operating from shadow self to operating from an aware, regulated self. And this is this workshop about for educators. I'd like to ask one question. Just type a yes or no in the chat window. Okay. Are all emotions good? A quick yes or no. Someone says no. Okay. Is there any bad emotion? Okay, not all are good. Okay. Is there any bad emotion? Yes. Can you name a couple of bad emotions? People who think there are bad emotions? Very quickly. Name a couple of bad emotions. Anger. Okay. Jealousy. Yelling. Yelling is a behavior, not an emotion though, but all right. Jealousy. Okay, I'm going to tell you something today. Emotions are not good or bad. Emotions are just emotions. They're there. They're all yours. They're a part of you. They're all a part of you. Doesn't matter which emotion you have. They just come, they visit you. You can't do anything about it. Disgust is an emotion. You're walking on the road and you find something which is like really dirty and you get disgusted by it. Now the thing is, what do you do with that emotion? That is important. That makes the emotion good, bad, ugly, whatever. Emotions are not good or bad. They're just emotions. They're there. They will visit you. They're all a part of you. It is us who feel that certain emotions are not good and we push them to our unconscious. And they keep coming back in these forms, in reaction form. Right? So emotions are not bad at all. So all these emotions that we have repressed, guilt, shame, anger, frustration. In fact, anger is a very beautiful emotion because it suppresses, it takes care of so much. You're feeling you're feeling guilt, you become angry. Again, you're going on a road and there is a rock. You trip over it. What do you say? You feel angry. किसने रखा ये यहाँ पे पत्थर? अरे लोगों को कुछ नहीं पता, right? So anger is the emotion which is masking another emotion. You're embarrassed because you fell in front of your friends. You're embarrassed because your heel twisted your ankle, but you show it with anger. So anger is a good emotion. All emotions are just emotions. So what we do with them is very important, how we become aware of those emotions. And those are not really our shadows. If they have become shadows, then we have to meet them, integrate them. All right, my teaching portion for the day is over. And now we're just going to do things. So this is an activity. Adolescent, now we are understanding our students. Adolescent behavior does not exist in isolation. So it interacts with the adults around in the room, with the parents, with the educators. So we set the tone for it. So there's again a poll question, and here I'll need Diksha again. I get most frustrated when students, this is the statement, I get most frustrated when students. So just choose your answer there. And yeah, these are the options. When they yell in class, when they answer back, question my authority, or busy doing something else, do not sit in one place, do not pay attention, do not finish their homework, do not listen to me, or any other thing. So what frustrates you the most in a classroom?
Is the poll visible?
To me, it is, but others? Yeah, Shruti said.
No,
Thank
it was
you.
not visible.
And now, oh, not visible to Chitra, but Shruti says yes. So a lot of people have answered already. 4, 10, 14, 12 people have answered, 16 people have answered. Okay. Right. So this is the thing that frustrates you most. Mostly it is busy doing something else. That means they're not paying attention to you. Diksha, can we please end this? Thank you. Yeah. Something in the chat window. Okay.
It is not visible.
All right. So, Rajni, you can think of one situation which kind of frustrates you in a classroom. If the children are yelling or not doing their work, or what is it that a student does that frustrates you? So just keep the answer in your mind. Now think of, why does this behavior affect me more than others? Children do 100 things in the classroom. Why is that one behavior affects you the most? And when you think of that answer, then think of, what does it make you feel? What story do you tell yourself and what emotion gets activated in you? What does that behavior make you feel? Does it feel you disrespected, incompetent, inadequate, not enough? What does it make you feel? And what story do you tell yourself? Like, what are you reminded of? Which incident are you reminded of? And what emotion gets activated in you? Take a moment to write it in your journal, or you can take notes on your phone, however you're comfortable. Or just think the answer in your head and we'll talk about it. Yeah. Let's talk about this. Anyone, like I said, this is a safe learning space, so we can discuss this. Any student behavior which has activated an emotion in you. What did it remind you of? What memory did it trigger?
Chitra, you want to speak? Do not listen to me. When students don't listen to me, she
Okay.
says, yeah.
Sakina
Chitra, you want
says,
to unmute and
do
speak?
not pay attention. So what happens? Like, why does that trigger you? Why should they pay attention to you? Can you unmute yourself, please?
Chitra?
Yes. Because when the children are not listening, our time is also wasted when we conduct some activity, some kind of that. Why are they not listening? So that thing comes, why are they not listening to me? Because we have back-to-back activity and all that. So that time our anger comes. Why are they not listening? Why are they not coming and settling? That is.
Okay. So that's a reason that your time is getting wasted. The emotion is you feel angry. Now think about, why do you feel angry? What is your unmet need that makes you feel angry? Someone is not listening to you. So
I'm not able to say it immediately.
no problem.
Ma'am,
Thank
can
you,
I give
Shruti, for
answer?
sharing. Yeah, just a
Shruti
moment.
Nair says something.
I feel disrespected and unheard. My efforts are not considered of any value. So you feel undervalued or unvalued. You feel unheard. We need our efforts validated. Yes, we've worked very hard for those activities. We've spent so much time meeting in the entire team with the entire team, and the need for attention is not met. There is no validation of students actually fulfilling what we want from them. That is the need. Yes, Heather.
Ma'am, I think while teaching, many students not paying attention because for them that subject is not interested, or for them that topic may be abstract, or they require a pre-knowledge about or something. So if we make the subject interesting, they're going to listen.
Right,
Or
Heather, you're
what
absolutely right.
their interest,
But that's the
how
reason
they're,
for not listening. What does it, what emotion do you feel when they're not listening? Do you feel, what do you feel?
Initially we feel angry, but then second thought I said my lesson is not that much that the child is not listening. So both the way I'll think about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone who shared, thank you. So moving on. Yeah. So the trigger is not just the present event. Remember the previous slide where I said what is, what is visible. The trigger is the present event plus an old emotional pattern. So the teachers, I'll keep repeating the same example. The teacher who feel threatened by a child challenging their authority, who feel angry when the child says, "No, ma'am, you're wrong. Ma'am, I had Googled it." So when you immediately feel that anger, what happens is there is something, an old emotional pattern that comes to surface. A shadow comes to surface, and that could be anything. Maybe you've had to always prove yourself to be seen. You've always had to prove it time and time again that you're competent enough, right? So that old emotional pattern is something we have to look at. And you can't do it in the classroom at that moment, but this is something we have to. This is what is meeting your shadow is all about. This is what being aware of your shadow is about. All right. When the student's behavior activates us, we often respond from our wound rather than our wisdom. Before we can co-regulate a student, we must first regulate ourselves. Okay. And we will do one exercise here. I request all of you to close your eyes, please. Wherever you're sitting, please sit straight. Close your eyes, and we will do this visual exercise. Recall the moment. What had happened? What did the student do? Recall the exact moment when you felt angry or whatever. What happened inside you? Notice what shifts. When you're thinking of that incident, think of what is happening in your body. Is your jaw tightening? Are your thoughts racing? Do you feel a roll in your stomach? Do you feel like you're holding on to your breath? Are you frowning? Name the emotion. Is it disrespect that you felt? Did you feel ignored at that moment? Did you feel inadequate? Did you feel incompetent? Not heard, not seen? What did you feel? Locate that emotion in your body. Where do you feel it? Do you feel a tightness in the chest? Something stuck in the throat? Do you feel heaviness in the shoulders? Something in the jaw area? Stay with this thought. Stay with that emotion. Whenever you're ready, please open your eyes. Anyone who would like to share, the chat window is open. You can unmute yourself and talk. Where did you feel that emotion? What happened? What were the changes in your body? Or you want to take a moment to write down, you could do that. Is there anyone who feels like sharing? Anyone who would be willing to share their experience? I see some raised hand.
Yes, it's Jayashri.
Jayashri, yes. Chitra felt a tight jaw.
Yeah, Jayashri, yeah.
Yeah, good evening. I was just once you were telling me, I was just going through the same experiences. I was trying to live through that. So I could. So are we supposed to share only the emotion or the incident?
Whatever you feel comfortable with.
Okay. The incident would be something like when I have told a student not to, go beyond a particular limit. Like, the body language should be as per the school, the where you are, it should be more formal and all. So when I was trying to explain, somewhere I felt like the student disrespected me and I felt ignored. The feeling is like not being heard to some extent, I would say. More than that, I felt helpless. And locate where this was happening. I mean, where what I was feeling would be like, was feeling little breathless and a kind of a weak feeling. I mean, suddenly you feel drained off. Those would be the um, emotions which I can remember. And later on, when the matter escalates further, and then I was called and said that don't be very strict with students, and sometimes we need to be lenient or something. Then I felt like, oh no, I mean, it's a kind of feeling what I could have.
Okay.
I think we lost her, right?
Yeah, so the voice was breaking in the end, but we got the whole gist of it. So thank you so much, Jayashri, for sharing. And
There are several responses in
yeah,
the chat also.
tight jaw, heart racing, clenched teeth, clenched fit, trying to control the frustration, irritation. So just a quick thing about, why you felt this, all these things while revisiting that incident. Because somewhere what resurfaced for you was another time in the past when you felt tightness of jaw means when you wanted to speak and you didn't have that voice. When you felt like, oh, you want to say so much, but you can't. Clenched jaw is again the same thing. Thoughts racing is just, so many emotion trapped here. So many emotions trapped when you want to speak so much and you had to keep quiet because you didn't have that voice. So that is something which is unpleasant and you put it behind in your unconscious and that becomes a shadow. So when suddenly this, this emotionally charged situation comes, you operate from that moment when you could not speak. When you have your clenched fists and, the clenched teeth, it's again holding yourself back. That's the time when you felt like you had to speak or you had to stand up for yourself, but you couldn't. And those are the emotions, those are the needs, that need for speaking, that need for being heard, that need for being seen, that need for, just being enough as you are. Those were the unmet needs which you pushed to the corner where you don't want to see them anymore. And those unmet needs, they come back. They come back. And that is what forms shadows. And in situations like these, you feel the same emotions. In that classroom, when that happened, you did not clench your fist. You did not clench your teeth. Your jaw didn't tighten. What happened? You felt angry. Because like anger is such a beautiful emotion, just masks everything. So you reacted with anger, but what you really felt was that need to speak, that need to prove that you are enough, that need to tell the world that I have a voice and I can use it. So what happened in that classroom when the child did what the child did is you felt angry. But when you look beneath, there was something else. Otherwise, right now, just thinking about that moment won't have tightened your jaw, won't have led to clenched fists and clenched teeth and racing hearts. Because anger lasts only for 30 seconds. I don't know who said this. I forget the name of that person. They say anger lasts only for 60 seconds. After that, you hold on to the emotion because of which you felt angry. So you cannot be angry for such a long time. That incident happened way long back. So what is it you're feeling now when you're thinking about it? It's that need which is unmet. So if we are aware of that, if we can integrate that, if we can regulate that, we will no longer feel anger at that moment when the situation is emotionally charged. And this is a tough job we educators have to do, regulating ourselves. Back to sharing my screen. Yeah, this is my chat window. Okay. Right.
Jayashree says Ralph. Ralph said up that about anger, I think.
Oh, someone did. Ralph, is it?
Mm.
Okay. Thank you. Someone said you can't be angry for more than a minute. So if you're still pretending to be angry, then understand what is it, what emotion exactly is there. It's not anger. So now this is something we're not doing here, but it is for you. Later, when you go back, when you have time to sit with yourself, please do this. This is called the pattern mapping. So things happen in a classroom, and so look at the student behavior that triggers you again and again and again. Where is the pattern? Right? Students do a million things. Not everything triggers you. But there is a pattern. They do certain thing and that becomes a trigger. In any classroom, on any day, good day or bad day. And the day you have you in a very good mood or bad mood, irrespective of that, there is that behavior that triggers you. Look at that behavior. Think of that. Then write down the emotional reaction, not the emotion that you feel, the reaction. How did you react to that every time that happened? And then look at the deeper need. What do you need that is not being met? Which need is not being met that you're reacting every time that way? Again, I'll go back to the same example for the ease of, staying with it. Student challenges me, I feel angry. So this is where we all stop, right? We only look at this. The student challenges me every time, says, ma'am, you're wrong. No, ma'am, this is not how we draw it. No, ma'am, this is not. I've Googled it. No, ma'am, my father taught me something else. You know what, ma'am, my aunt is a doctor. She told me something else, right? Challenges your authority. You feel anger. And this is where we leave it. That student always makes me angry. That student always challenges my authority, makes me angry. That's it. But what's happening? This is where we need to look. Which is that deeper need that is unmet, that is making that particular behavior a trigger for you. You don't have to talk about it now. This is a little deep and this is little personal. But definitely do it whenever you have time. Later, in a couple of months, look at that pattern and then look at the need that you are feeling, which is unmet. So here in this example, it is the need for competence or the need for adequacy. Every time when you had to prove to people, not only as a child, but even as an adult, your inner critic keeps telling you, you know what, you're not enough. You know what, go ahead and prove yourself once again. And that's where, when that innocent student tells you something, you feel angry, and that's where you leave it. No, go one step further and find out the need which is unmet in you. And then we reframe this. I will just read it out. Instead of asking what is wrong with the student, problem kya hai usko? Ask, what might the student be struggling with? Remember the exercise we did? The unmet need in the student? He feels lonely. He doesn't get the attention in the house. What is happening that the student is behaving the way he's behaving? Instead of, how do I stop this behavior? Now, this is where the control is. You're stopping a behavior. Behavior is only a symptom. When you stop it, it is just like, giving paracetamol to bring a fever down. You don't know what the fever is about. Why is the fever there? You're not treating the root cause. So how do I stop this behavior? This is control. We're not there. As an educator, we need to move beyond this and ask ourselves, what need might be underneath it? Instead of, how do I regain control of the classroom? Go beyond that and ask yourself, how can I create connection? So like someone once told me, every teacher in every single classroom is a counselor. And that's where this understanding comes from. This is something AI gave me. I'll not take credit for this. From control to connection toolkit. So they gave me this pause tool. So I put it here because I kind of agree with this. So first we need to pause. Then we need to acknowledge our own emotion. What are we feeling and why are we feeling? Understand the emotion students need. Why is the student behaving in this way? Why does he always behave like this? Then stay regulated. Regulate that emotion of yours. A very quick, inhale, exhale. Regulate yourself. Do not react. And then engage with that student with curiosity instead of control. Ask your whys here. So the biggest thing is pause. Anything and everything that comes before the pause is a reaction, and that is not what we want. So we pause, and then we understand, we regulate, and we engage. So this is something I like to discuss in the whole group. Imagine the same student behavior occurring sometime next week, the same behavior which is a trigger for you. Ask, if I were my most grounded, emotionally attuned self, how would I respond? Think about it for 30 seconds and then we talk. And when you've thought about your response, think about what changed when you focused on yourself rather than the student. What did you discover about your own trigger? How might regulation change the outcome of the interaction? Regulation of your emotion at that moment. Think of this. Write it if you belong to the school of thought I belong to, putting pen to paper. There's nothing like it for people who come from where I come from, that age, that school.
Poonam says something. She's writing in the chat.
And this is where we have a quick discussion. So next time this happens, how will you respond?
Poonam, you want to speak? I know you've written in the chat. Maybe you could unmute and speak.
I think just controlling your emotions with first take a deep breath, take a pause. It may not, I mean, it will probably take a lot of training for us to try to reflect why am I reacting, but just that pause or that deep breath will prevent us from immediately reacting. And what I've realized, especially in the classroom scenario, is just trying to smile or laugh actually changes your reaction. I mean, I don't know if it works for everybody, but yeah, just smile to yourself or try to think that it's not so bad. That helps. I mean, in a way, it's a pause.
Yeah. So everybody has their own style of taking that pause. Someone closes their eyes and takes a deep breath. Some people just smile or, whatever it is, that pause. This is what is regulation. You regulate your nervous system before you actually react or respond.
Count backwards from 10. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, anything,
Like
anything that works. Anything that works too. Smile really helps. See, deep breath.
deep breath.
So that's our way of taking the pause and then regulating ourselves and then responding. We can think about, the unmet needs and emotions and all later after the classroom. But while we are in the classroom, we need to operate from a place where we are calm and where we are regulated. Okay. So one last activity we're doing good on time. Just one last activity, 2 minutes thing. Write a letter to that one student. You've been thinking about the student for the past 1 hour. The least that fellow deserves is, it's a couple of lines from you. What might this student wish I understood about them? What might this student wish I understood about them? So they have been giving you a tough time in the classroom, disrupting your classroom, yelling, not doing their work, challenging your authority, all of that. Now just write to that child what they wish that you understood about them. Two minutes, and I'll keep time here. Okay. You would have written something and then ask yourself, what is one thing I will do differently next week or whenever the school reopens for you? Because a lot of schools have not opened yet. They'll open in July in the north of India. So, yeah. What is one thing I'll do differently next week or whenever the school reopens? And this is for you to look at before the school reopens or before you enter that classroom next time. Take a look at this. I close the session with one thought, which is students do not need perfect educators. We are not perfect because we are human beings. They need educators who can notice when they have been triggered, regulate themselves, and return to connection. Nervous systems talk before words do. And this is my favorite line, which says educators are emotional thermostats, not thermometers. So we've heard this line a lot of times, let's just take a very quick temperature check of the classroom. But before that, let's remember our superpower. More than being thermometers, we are thermostats. We regulate the temperature of a classroom. Our nervous system, if it is regulated, if it is calm, we set the temperature. And that's how the classroom is the entire day. So educators are emotional thermostats. And how does that work? We regulate our own emotions to set the temperature of the classroom. And later, of course, we can go about measuring it. So thank you so much for your time, for your participation, and for all the sharing.
Thank you so much, Richa. It was really very, I think, very, I mean, more looking inwards as an educator. So, and I think that is what brings connection with students. So we need to understand ourselves. We need to regulate ourselves for, creating that connection with students. And I heard Poonam right. I saw Poonam right in the chat. Excellent session. Poonam, you want to just unmute and speak? What was your takeaway?
Yeah, really, really insightful session. I agree with you there. And, I think though we may know this, to look for our triggers and think, why am I reacting like that? We sort of miss out on these things. And, this session really has given a lot of food for thought. Amazing. I really loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Poonam. Thank you for coming in. Garima, you want to speak? Unmute and speak. Garima has written, "Thank you so much for the session. It has given me a different perspective on connection rather than control. The onus has shifted from the students to myself and my unmet needs." So true. So, Garima, you want to speak? You want to unmute and speak?
Hi, thank you so much, Richa ma'am, for this session. It was really a very reflective session. I mean, I have been into teaching for last 4 years, and every time, every session I've attended, I used to think, what can I do to improve that child, or what can I do to make that child better? But it's very seldom that I think about myself. What can I do to make myself better? And why did I react that way? So I think that was amazing. Thank you so much, and I'm going to take these learnings forward even to my peers. So thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Garima.
And there is lot of lot of thanks coming your way, Richa, on the chat. A
Thank
lot
you
of
so
them
much,
saying thank
everyone. Thank you
you,
for
nice
being here.
session, thoughtful session, insightful, very good insight, excellent session, wonderful. So before you leave, I would just request Diksha to give the link for the feedback. Yeah. So there you go. There is a feedback form, a link. Please, if you could all fill that. And please see that your name in the feedback form is exactly the way you would want it on the certificate. We will be sending out a certificate of participation to each one of you. So whoever sends the feedback form, whatever the feedback form we receive, all of those people will get a certificate. So please see that you send it if you want a certificate. And thank you so very much, Richa. And
Thank
like
you.
I
Thank you,
said,
Jayashree, for
yeah,
the
it's
opportunity.
always, I think for educators, it's always about looking inwards. Yeah, so because in so many ways we are models, we need to role model. So I think understanding ourselves, working on ourselves is obviously going to be really, really, helpful for us to create that relationship with students. And once you create that relationship, then only then learning happens, right? So that relationship is the first most uh, foremost important aspect in, I think, our teaching career. So thank you so much. And thank you to each one of you. So please take the link and open the feedback form because it's past 5. It's nearly going to be 5:08. We will be closing the session, but you will have the feedback link with you. So thank you to each one of you. Before we close, just wanted to inform you then next Saturday, we have a workshop, 1.5 hour PD workshop on AI tools, 4 very important quick AI tools that you will learn in 1 hour. So please register for that. And please look out for the link on our social media. And if you want, you can always get in touch with us. We can always send you the registration link. So please try and join if you're interested in that. Okay. Thank you. And thank you, Diksha, for pitching in for Siddesh and administering the poll and all doing everything at the back end so that this could go so smoothly. Yeah.
No issues.
Thank you. So,
Thank you,
Diksha,
Richa.
you can end the meeting.
Thank you so much, Diksha. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye,
No
Richa.
issues. Bye bye.